Hello my crafty friends, Corrine here from Corrine Crafts. I hope you are doing well and I hope you're enjoying the Christmas inspiration. I'm loving putting this together for you. Now I have got a project for you today. Look at that. Oh, I'm going to have to bring it back a bit so you can see it all. Isn't that beautiful? I've got a new Poinsettia die set from Jamie Rogers Crafts and some Jamie Rogers Crafts sentiments that both of which I managed to pick up at Doncaster Live recently, and this is what I've used to make this card. I hope Jamie likes it too. I'm going to show you how I make it. We've kept it lovely and white with, I hope you can see it's just glaring a little bit, with, oh look at that gorgeous texture paste through the back of there. I'm going to show you now how you can make it and then you'll be able to see it a bit better. Well, this is a new one for me. I've got a new brand for me. Not a new brand, but it's new for me. These are two items from Jamie Rogers Crafts. Yes, I'm sure you've seen Jamie if you watch any of the shopping TV channels. He brought out his own brand in the last couple of years, and I was at Crafting Live recently and I picked up his traditional poinsettia and his Christmas wishes collection, the sentiments. Love the sentiments. It's got a Merry Christmas on, which is the one I would use more than Happy Christmas. It's just personal preference. But I love the poinsettia. You know me, I'm a sucker for floral dies. I love this. It's what I would personally call a melded die. So all of the elements are melded together. They're not going to separate. It means you never lose one. You know you've always got all 1, 2, 3, 4 flowers and the centres. So I'm going to make a card using these. I think the sentiment works really well with the flowers, so I just thought, why not put them all together? So what I have got is I have got a 5" by 6.5" piece of multi-purpose cardstock. Before I get any further, this is going to be a very white card. It's not what I'd call clean and simple, but it's got a lot of white on it. And then my card base is 1 inch bigger, 6 inches by 1 inch bigger, 7.5 inches. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on here, but basically, there we go. I've just got literally 1 inch all the way round on each side. So yes, that's the difference. Now, there's one bit I want to do first on this card before we go any further. And I'm going to create the decorative strip that goes down there. Now I've got a stencil, so I could be inking, I could be doing a different medium. We're going to be using glitter paste today, so I'm just going to bring in a craft sheet and I'm going to pop this on here. So this is 2¼ inches wide, and at the moment it is the 6.5 inch. Oh, it's a bit bigger than the 6.5 inches because I think it's easier to trim it down. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the stencil over my piece of card, just like that. Now I found that if I put it about there, make sure it's nice and straight. If I put it about there, I've got quite a nice bit, central bit in there. So all I'm going to do then is I'm just going to tape the stencil down. Now you can get sticky mats that you can do this onto, but I usually find that this will be enough. Now I have got a clear glitter paste. I don't know how many more projects I'm going to get out of this. I put the lid on very tight, but it's drying up rapidly. Look at this. A lot of this is getting very dry, but actually if you're careful, I can still get it to work. So I did on my tester one. So I'm going to just give it a little bit of a smush. It's very thick, this. It's a bit moist down in those grooves. So all I'm going to do is pick up a bit. Like I say, I'm not going to get many more out of this. Then I'm just going to run it over here. It's a very clear paste, is this, but that is what I'm after. I just want the sparkle. Like I say, it's going to be a very white card, so I don't want to be adding colour as such on here. I just want to be adding texture and sparkle and interest. Like you said, look at that, I'm having to really drag that down. Let's see if I can find a bit more that's a little bit damp. again, you can see I've really dug into my craft supplies to find this. I'm going to either have to look to see if I've got another clear one for any more projects, or whether I need to get on and get some more ordered. That's the thing. Glitter paste, sometimes you look and they're not the biggest pots, but you don't actually want them to be big pots, because this does happen and they can dry out quite quickly. So I'm just making sure that I've got glitter paste right up to the edges, just like that. Now, as I say, this isn't spreading very thinly because it's quite old, but doesn't mean I have to waste it. So I can put this onto here. I'm going to trim it down once it's dry. The paste is there. So then what I would do, as you can see on there, so I'm going to pick that up, and then I'm just going to grab a corner and I'm just going to peel it back. Look at that. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Now, one thing I would do while it's still very wet like this is just go around the edges. I know we're going to trim it down, but if you want an edge that you don't need to trim down, you don't want the glitter paste to overrun. So I can now just put that to dry. You can force it dry a little bit faster with a heat gun, but you have to be careful not to scorch. So if you can leave it to dry, that's even better. So I'm just going to pop that to one side. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to bring back my stencil, and then I'm just going to go down. So even though it's really thick and getting quite old is this glitter paste, I can still get the excess off. See, look at all that's come back off. I can put it back in the pot. I'm going to put that on, and I'm going to... Now, I've never successfully reinvigorated a glitter paste. You might have a trick that you know that really works. I've never found one that really is that effective. Now, all I would say is get this into some hot water nice and quickly, and then it won't dry too hard. And look at that, perfectly clean. As long as you give it a quick clean, nice and quickly, it'll be fine. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my card base. So I can get so far with this. So there's my card base. I've already explained to you the sizing of that. That is 6 inches by 7. Sorry, I was a bit quick. 6 inches by 7.5 inches. So I've got this gorgeous, fresh green. So let's put that onto the card. So this is going to be my matte layer. And we're going to pop that on just with some tacky glue, just along there, because we don't want this to be raised up too much. Now, I'm not going to actually use any foam tape, I don't think, on here. I hadn't actually thought that bit through. But I don't think I am, because I've got the texture and the height from the emboss, and then I'm going to use those gorgeous poinsettias. So I've just made that decision just now. I don't think I'm going to go with any foam tape for once. There you go, just move off any little bits that smoosh out. There we are. Then I'm going to put this on. So I'm not adding any colour to this. It's just going to be white. Quite brave for me, but I just think sometimes it will really work. Now, I am, one of the things as I'm putting this together, I was a bit concerned, have I gone too big with the card base? Could I get this a little bit smaller? Would it look really impactful? Oh, by the way, I could have taken some of that green out, but I haven't. I've had a sort out. I'm all right for green at the moment, so I've just popped that on like that, but I could have taken out the centre of that. I could have, like I say, could have gone a fraction smaller, maybe an inch smaller on the height, and come in a little bit, but I don't know. I think it might have been a bit overpowering. All right, so this one is my wet one, and then this one is my dry one. So I've just left this to dry, and look at that. Doesn't that look gorgeous? And I can pop that onto another bit of green. Now, I have trimmed this down so that it is exactly 6.5 inches tall, so that it fits the topper. So we're just going to pop it on, and you can see this is why I don't think I need any foam tape, because I've already got the height. As I said, this was a really old glitter paste, so it's quite chunky, and I just feel like it adds quite a bit of dimension already. So I don't really need, you know, like an extra 1 mil of foam tape on here. So we can put that onto there. Now, if you wanted to, you could have the green at the top, but I'll show you. I don't tend to when I'm doing things like this because, and I'll show you why. When I put this on the card, let's get the glue going. Can you tell I'm getting to the bottom of the bottle of glue? I'm sure I've got another one somewhere. I hope so. I'll have a look in a minute. So put that one on. And I'm going to put this on here. So I've not put green at the top and the bottom, but I'm going to pop it on my card over to the left hand side. Pop that on. Oh, I've got a little bit of glue oozing. Make sure it's nice and straight. Just going to give that a bit of a press down. Look, more glue's coming out. It's not a problem because it's my tacky glue. And the great thing is, look, if this is moved, I can move it. See, I feel like this has slipped a little bit at the top here. It's not quite straight. So I can move it over just a little bit. There we go. You see why we need the glitter paste to be dry before we work. Now, I didn't put a border at the top because it's using the border from that matte layer. So by not putting any extra border on there, it gives the impression of a border because it's going to work like that. Now, I know I've got some height, but I am actually going to use I'm going to do my normal flattening technique. That glitter paste is totally flat, so that's just going to hopefully, actually I might just give it a flip over and press down. There we go. And just let it all press together. So let's have a look at the poinsettia. As I mentioned, this is what I call a melded die. So these dies are all melded into one another. So it will just cut. So you just need to put it onto a piece of card and cut it. Now, if you only want a certain element, so I only wanted to cut these two out of green. So I just put a little piece of card over there when I ran it through the die. I didn't put the green over the whole lot because I knew I never wanted the green flowers. So I was just able to cut those bits. So you can still cut individual bits. So you get that size flower. No, that's the same one. This one here. Let me show you on here. Then I'm going to get that one. And I'm also going to get that one. So I'm going to get all of those size flowers. And I ran it through a few times. I think I did it 3 in total. So that I've got all of these. So those are the same size as is. Oh, you see, that one actually caught. I didn't get the end of that. I've got 3 of those. I've got 3 of those and 3 of those. And then I've got quite a few of, I must have 3 of the white, of the centres in white. But I'm not going to be using all of these. So what I'm actually going to be using, let me just get rid of some of these extra bits, is I'm going to be using 2 or 3 of the largest and 2 or 3 of the next size down. So these ones I'm going to keep and I'm going to do it on another project, one where I want to do quite a bit smaller. All I'll do is I'll put these into the pack with the die just in there, and then when I want them, they will be in there ready to go. I think I might need to put this in a new poly bag because I've gone through the side instead of the top. I've just caught it, but we'll do that in a minute. Okay, so I don't need those, but I'm going to use, I might use one. I'll have a look. I'll have a think. I'll have a think as we go. I might use one. So we're going to use those and we're going to make ourselves a gorgeous poinsettia. I've got a range of ball tools here and I'm going to turn them over and I'm going to do very similar to what I normally do. So let's come in with this. I've got something on my ball tool there. Let's go with the next size ball tool. Should be smoother. Now what I like about this is when these cut, can you see they also emboss all that vein detailing. Now, I'm not going to push all that out just by shaping it. It's still there, but I've now got quite a bit of shape on my petals. So let's come in here and that one, and then that's the right way up, another one, and then put that on there. So that's going to give me the 3 layers for this. show you that. And then I've got these two in the smaller. Let's come with this. I do like these ball tools. These were really old Fleurs ones. I mean, unfortunately, you can't get them anymore. But again, I've mentioned this before. Have a look for things like this that aren't labelled with crafting on, and you can get the equivalent of ball tools that are for engineering and things, and they are a fraction of the price. So I'm going to open these out. I do love this green. I know this is quite an unusual colour for poinsettia, but you can actually find white poinsettias. They come in all sorts of colours now, don't they? So that's quite nice. Do that. Great thing is when you shape, if it's got die cuts in, it pops all the bits out for you, so it does two jobs in one. So let's see where we go from there. Okay, so let's go. I do find tacky glue is good for things like this because it grabs quite quickly. We only need a tiny bit, and what I love about these that Jamie's designed is they've got quite a nice size element in the middle for you to put your glue on, which is always really handy. So we can put them down. So I'm going to stagger them. I've got 3, so let's see if I can stagger them properly for a 3. If you're going to do 2, you just put it halfway round, but I'm doing 3, so could do with enough glue, Corrine, there. And then the third one, so then this one's going to stagger there. And can you see I've got them nicely staggered there. I'm just going to give that a little bit of a press. I'm not going to go too hard because I'm going to put some next ones in. Oh, that's a bubble. And then I can put the smaller ones in. It's just a personal preference. I don't tend to do all the sizes, and there's no, just because you've got all of the sizes and all of the sizes are cut out doesn't mean you have to use them. So I put that in there. I'm going to grab this ball tool and I'm just going to press. That's just moved a little bit. There we go. There we are. Let's press that down. Make sure everything's where I want it to be. And that's really going, that tacky glue, if I haven't used too much, it was quite hard to see white on white. I don't think I did. Will now grab and work through. Let me just grab my poker tool. Just remember, don't leave it too long, otherwise it'll stick to your mat. And there we have our gorgeous poinsettia, which is full of sort of volume and, you know, detail. I love that. So do I want the whites? I'm just going to go in with the greens. I'm just going to put the greens in, I think. I don't think I need the white ones. Like I say, they will do for another project. Put that in the middle. Just give it a little bit of a press. And this is tacky glue. It dries clear, so I can put a bit of glue. I need my tweezers. My fingers get in the way sometimes. I can put that in there. Don't worry about that glue showing. It will clear up. And then I can press that down in the centre. I just need to move that bottom layer. It's twisted a little bit. Will it come off? I can get it off, I think. I've twisted it very slightly. Yeah, that's just, it was making a bit of a gap. Put that back. I need that in the, oh, that's better. Just hold that. And then we compress. That was better. Everything's a bit more even now. Look at that. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I really like that. Thank you, Jamie. Gorgeous, gorgeous dies. I don't know whether these are a this year die, whether they're a last year die. I don't know whether it says on here. Sometimes you can get a year from there. Oh, it says Jamie Rogers Craft 2025. So yes, this is a this year's die. So yeah, you might still be able to find that. I just found it on a stall at Crafting Live at Doncaster. Anyway, I've then come on to a couple of dies that I've got in my craft stash that aren't Christmas dies. This one I think is a verbena, and then this is just some leaves and foliage. So I've cut both of them out of 2 greens. First of all, I've cut them out of the green that's the same as there, and then I've cut them out of a slightly darker green. So I've got that one there as well, and that one, and I've cut them quite a few times. When I'm cutting things like that, I don't mind over cutting, because I just pop them in my bits and bobs box, and then I can use them again at a later date. So I just found a scrap of green, 2 scraps of green, and I just made as many as I could get. So let's bring in my card base back in. I've got this in. Let me make sure I've got it the right way up, because I know what I'm like. And then I'm going to pop this on. Doesn't that look beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. So we've got it coming over the edge of my card. So I'm going to pop a big bit of 3D glue in. I just need to take the stopper out. Let's come out there, and then I can put my glue on, and then we can pop that across the centre. Now, because it's 3D glue, I've got plenty of time to put things on. So I need to just see how much of this foliage I need. And the great thing is this is a lovely big die. So you don't have to put the foliage right down in. As long as it's tucked under so that no one can see the ends. Actually, I probably would be better going in with the bigger ones first. So let's go in with the bigger ones. You just need to tuck the ends in, and then it actually makes your foliage look a little bit bigger. Now, this poinsettia didn't come with any foliage dies. Of course, we all know that the foliage, what we call the petals on a poinsettia, are actually leaves. But there's no separate leaves on this. You could cut another, let me show you. You could cut another poinsettia out and then trim into the leaves. I haven't got one quickly. And use, I could use those as the leaves. But I thought I would look for bits that I'd got and use those instead. I know this is not poinsettia foliage. 1, we have artistic license to go as we want, but 2, why couldn't you have a display where you used other winter foliage in with your poinsettia if you were making something? So I thought I'd put those 2 together, and then I'd pop a couple of these in as well. But I love having the extra colour, just that extra green just in there. How's that look? No, it just needs a little bit more. Let's put this one in. I'm just going to come under here so that can come out a little bit. And then let's do the same with that one. Put it under there. So it's coming out. There we are. Put that. And until you press it down, nothing is stuck. So let's just press that down a little bit. There we go. Now I need to finish this off, and I'm going to finish it off with one of Jamie's sentiments. As I mentioned, I picked up these ones and I've done the Merry Christmas from there. All I've done is stamped it in black and then added a green matte layer. Now I'm going to put extra height on this side and then a smaller one on this side, and you'll see why. So I've got the height of that, and I'm just going to straddle those just like that. Now, are we perfect? Now my plan was to use some of those dies, but I've just remembered that I've got a Nouveau Drops in apple green, and I think that's going to be an even better match. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit in the centre of here to add another dimension. Oh yeah, like that. And then I'm just going to pop a couple of little drops on the card. I did just test it on a scrap piece of card, because you know what I say, I always like to test before I go. Make sure they're quite small on this side. Oop. If you're unsure, just grab a scrappy piece of card. Nouveau Drops are so forgiving. They are really, really forgiving. If you're not that perfect at doing drops, Nouveau Drops will self-level and come right. There we go. I always do 3 3s, and that is it. How about that? That's a different one again, isn't it? I've not done one like this. I absolutely love this. I know I say that about them all, but I really do. I love how much white we've got. I love the choice of green on this. The text, you know, you've got that extra sparkle from the texture paste. You don't need lots of colour and blending on the background around here, because you've got this, and then you've got this gorgeous masterpiece poinsettia in there. Like I say, this is from Jamie Roger Crafts, but if you've not got that, or you've not access to that, then I'm sure you've got another flower. Again, this one, maybe you're going to put a big rose on there, maybe a different flower on there, and make this a birthday card, make it an anniversary card. I think it's great when you can take a design that I've tried to inspire you with and make it for a completely different occasion. Works so well. There we go. That is today's project. I hope you like that. I'm going to leave you there. Links on the left, of course. Subscribe on the right. Please don't forget to subscribe if you can. If not, please just give this video a like. It really, really does help me. And I will be back with another video very, very soon. So until then, my crafty friends, please don't forget to keep sharing your crafty makes with me, especially if I've inspired you to make any of your Christmas makes already. And I will be back very soon. So until then, links are there for you, and I'll be seeing you soon. Bye for now.